Okay, are we ready to go live? Thank you for doing this. This is awesome. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Here we go. Ah, we're here. Hi. Welcome.
Hi, Simon. Hi.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Welcome
you for
to
having me.
Instagram Live. I think if anybody doesn't know that you're British,
Oh,
I think,
actually, is Gracia here?
yeah, she's here.
I could murder a cup of tea.
Let's
Do you want
kill
a cup
it.
of tea?
I want a cup of tea. Gracia, could you bring us a cup of tea? Oh,
That just happened.
oh my God.
Thank you so much. Oh, you're so sweet. I know I mentioned it earlier. Thank you. This is
All
the
right.
producer, everybody.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Thanks for joining us. Cheers.
Oh my gosh, this is
Oh, yeah.
amazing. You've got lipstick on your thumb.
Oh, that's okay. That's
I'm not going to ask where it came from, but that's okay. Maybe
no
you
one will believe you anyway. Well, believe me anyway.
So you know what? This is the first time I've ever done one of these. I've never
Oh, yeah?
done an Instagram live. Have you?
I've done one once.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what am I doing here? I'm not even sure what's happening.
Yeah, so I recorded a class is what I did. And it was really
Okay.
fun. Like everybody
Okay.
was totally like, asking comments and stuff. So basically we're just kind of live on the internet right now, and all the followers from, your agency and from the studio and from wherever,
Okay.
they can watch us. And so we're just gonna talk, get to know you a little bit, and then see how you can pass on some, infinite wisdom because
Because I'm just like so infinitely wise.
yes.
Of course I am.
Thank goodness.
This is a great cup of tea, by the way. Thank you so much.
It's Red Rose, free plug. Cheers. Yeah, there you go.
Oh dear. By the way, the weather today, I almost didn't come because anybody
is
that
so
knows me knows that I just don't leave in the rain at all.
It's a bit wet. So everybody's really lucky that we had to show
Everybody's
up.
really lucky.
Because we're going to be washed out. We're going to be rained out today, but it came. Okay, so tell us how did it start? How did you kind of gravitate into the talent agency biz?
It's a really, really, long-winded question, but I'll kind of try and drill it down a little bit. But so I always had love for the arts growing up. I was at stage school and, from 3 to 16 and just loved my life there and did lots of musicals and dance and competitions, and it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
And so then I got this amazing opportunity to work with one of our finest casting directors in the city, Catherine Falcon.
Love Catherine.
Yeah, love.
Love.
When I came to, and Bim wasn't there yet, so shout out to Bim too.
Bim. Like a half.
This was at West Side Studios, and I don't know if you can remember West Side Studios.
Yeah.
It was opposite the old shoreline.
Right.
Right. And so I, went and worked with Catherine Falcon, and there was some amazing people. Pam Wise was there when she had her commercial agency, and Shannon Richardson was there, and it was just such a great group of people. And but then I got this amazing opportunity to work in the cruise industry. So I carried on this love of the arts into the cruise world, and was the assistant cruise director, and hired all the talent, and it was just amazing.
Oh, for the shows on the cruise ships.
Yeah.
Oh, so you would kind of be the acquirer of talent.
So acquirer of talent. I was involved in the shows, also all the entertainment on board, essentially. It was brilliant, and I just got to travel the world. And I encourage any young person to do that, right? Especially nowadays in this business, there's some amazing musicals and shows on cruise ships. They're really putting a lot of money into them. People on Broadway work on the ships, and vice versa. It's great. Anyway, so I did that. But in that industry, you can only go for so long. You're either in it for a short while or you're in it for life.
Right.
Right? So, I kind of had my time.
Yeah.
And then went back to Catherine. I said, hey, I'm home. And she's like, great. So I asked if I could work with her again, and she said, of course you can. And at this point, BIM had started.
Yeah.
And it was at the new Studio 3.
Yeah.
So I actually went from West Side Studios to Second Ave. Do you remember Second Ave?
Yeah.
They worked there for a bit, went away, came back. Then I went to work at Studio 3 Media as we are today.
Right.
And then I was there for a little bit. And, you know, so I got to see all the workings of the, you know, the back end of it as well. And I got to see the most amazing talent that would come through the door. And I felt that's where my, you know, when something, you have a passion and you have something that calls you, I really felt, and this was about 13 years ago now, that I needed to be an agent.
Yeah.
I needed to mentor people. I needed to manage people. I needed to just be in their lives and help them get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
So I started that. I said to BIM, what do you think, BIM? He's like, oh my God, you'd be perfect. So I left them when they, of course, they were like, go, you'll be great at it, and we'll all still work together. Mm-hmm. And I started out and started at the bottom and worked my way up. And yeah, it's so I've been in this industry for about 25 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, 10 years. I mean, look.
Yeah, you're absolutely
I'm only
timeless.
33.
Yeah, I'm 19.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it feels good to be young.
Does it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, I've loved, you know, my home is Vancouver, and you know, I've got to meet the most amazing people and have some great connections, and just love what, I mean, every single day I still love what I do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely love what I do.
That's amazing. So I've got
in this ever-changing world of what we're in, right?
Yeah. So I've got some great questions here.
Do you?
Yeah. And also, if anybody's on the you know, the live stream or whatever, and they want to throw a question down at us, let us know. We can maybe answer it right out of the interwebs, you know, that they have out there.
I would have seen these questions ahead of time, Simon.
Oh, well, this is part of the spontaneity that we like to...
Okay, let's see how this one goes.
All right, so, you know, what was it like in the beginning?
Oh, yeah. So it was way different. I mean, it wasn't as digital as we are today, right? So, you know, I mean, that's a whole conversation in itself. I mean, I remember working with Kath back at West Side Studios, and, you know, everything was put on tape, and then the tape would have to be just ran to the FedEx office before 4 o'clock.
Right, to get on the plane to fly down to LA.
Right. And it would be, everybody would come in for an audition, and it was the Polaroid. And then we'd take a picture of the, you know, the wee little faces and stick it to the headshot and resume.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because no one looks like their headshot for some reason.
So it was a whole different thing. And then there was no, you know, sites that we use today. That's all interchangeable, and everything just gets uploaded, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how it used to work. And so it was a kind of a buzz, you know.
Yeah.
Let's get this in by 4 o'clock.
Right.
Let's get this to FedEx by 4, and these are the selects, and these are going to be the ones, and it was just great.
Yeah, you had to kind of like, it was like the movies, you know, where the like, guys jumping over the cars and running around. Oh, get the thing into FedEx before 4 o'clock, because they had to overnight it to the agency the next day. Yeah,
wherever it was going.
I remember that. And Polaroids too were always like, it was just like, okay, so, and you try to look good in a Polaroid, which is, you know, it's pretty hard. Well, for me anyway. I mean, but the Polaroids are just so corny.
I know. And you only had one time because, of course, Polaroids were really expensive.
Yeah.
So you had to be like eyes wide open for, you know, while the person was taking the picture, because if you blinked, you're done.
That's it. That's the one that got sent off.
That's it. Yeah. So, yeah, there was some really fun moments, you know. And that's just all changed today with everything being digital.
Yeah, so like, you know, since COVID,
you
know, let's talk about some of the changes that have happened in, like, say, the last 5 years. Like what, you know, COVID really kind of put the brakes on, you know, people coming into auditions and stuff like that. So as a talent agent, I know that, you know, as an actor, I know that now I am responsible for creating my own audition tapes. So I'm kind of taking on some of the responsibility of the casting, what casting used to take on. And so, you know, you're now, you know, kind of making sure that the tapes are all okay. So you're kind of a casting assistant by default. And what are some of the other changes that you've noticed over those 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, again, self-tape, some people love them, some people don't like them.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is that self-taping opened up the world, and gave people chances that probably wouldn't get in the room, because when a casting director did a live session, they only had so many spots for for that particular role because they only had so many hours in a day, right? So now it's really opened up to more people being able to be seen by a casting director.
Right.
I mean, there's a flip side to that as well. We have that connection that we don't have anymore.
Right. So when you walked into the room, you would have that immediate kind of feedback from the reader, camera operator, casting director, be like, oh yeah, or no, also meeting everybody.
Totally.
Yeah. And also for newer actors too, there's a quickening that happens because you gotta, steady yourself and get into the audition room and handle the nerves. And even if it's a callback, with the casting director, the writer, producer, director, they're all in the room, you're like, ooh, it's on.
And you know what? This is really funny because, we talk about pre-COVID and post-COVID, and then there's certain actors that came in post-COVID.
Right.
That have never been into a room.
Right.
They only know how to self-tape.
Right.
So now they're like, what do you mean I have to go and do a callback?
Yeah, live. What?
Live? What? Yeah. So it's like, some people don't like using the telephone anymore. It's the same type of thing, right? So it's interesting that the people pre and post COVID, the ones post don't even know what it looks like to go in the room. Right. So they're actually in a bit of a better situation because they really know how to put themselves on tape.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's always those little nuances. For example, your slate. You can have a personality on the slate too.
Yeah.
Don't just stand there like, hi, my name is, you just look just so unenthusiastic.
Right.
And so
kind of flat.
Kind of flat.
Yeah.
Right? So you get that one opportunity to be a little bit more upbeat, maybe, if the character's a little bit more, solemn. And then also, what I do suggest about doing a self-tape is if you have the opportunity to do 2 takes of each scene, and that's okay with the casting director, I strongly advise you do that, because at the end of the day, you don't really know what they're looking for. I mean, you can read those sides, but the creator of the show, the director has a whole different way of seeing. There's some casting directors in town that give outstanding notes. Yeah. So, who they are. I mean, they're great. And so the notes are to the T. Others will just let you go and do what you want to do with it, right? So, never overact it ever. Always be you, but just be you in the character, That just comes through as authentic. Never push. I can so tell if someone's pushing in an audition. Just be. Yeah. Just be that character. Yeah. But the most important thing is for that, though, talking of being the character, is always think about what that character would be doing before that scene, even if it's one line, and what that character would be doing as they leave the scene, right? So you really are invested into being this character. It's a little show there for a minute or two, so just give it your best. Yeah, you got to immerse yourself in that imaginary circumstances. Yeah. Now, the 2-take thing, I know that on occasion you get this opportunity to do 2 takes. Yeah. And, I have friends in the business that are directors and producers and all that stuff. They say, oh yeah, if they send us another take, make sure it's different. Oh, of course. Some people are like, oh, well, in this one moment, I kind of looked a little, did you notice? And you're like, no. Yeah. So when you're talking about the 2 different takes, they have to be quite obviously different. So the tactics or the relationship that I've chosen has to be, different. It can't be like, hey, this is it, and there's just a subtle change. Yeah. Because people are also going through all these tapes. Yeah. And they have to get through 30, 40 tapes, and they don't want to watch a second one that's exactly what they feel is exactly the same. So like somebody's sad, for example. Yeah. If it warrants it, obviously each one would be different. If somebody's sad, maybe one take is crying. Yeah. And the other one is just showing sadness in the face. Or just resentful. Or just resentful, right? That's exactly right. So it depends again on the sides, but one could be resentful, one could be just so sad and just crying, right? So two different takes.
Yeah, it's got to be quite obvious.
Different.
Yeah,
absolutely, every time.
Because that's another thing that people miss out on is like going into the room is like you would have that casting director
give you that
give you the feedback and try to steer you into a booking, whereas now you're just kind of like.
Yeah.
Well, did I get it or not? Yeah.
But that's part of doing your homework too, right? So if you kind of know the tone of the show, especially if it's a season 2 or 3, if you know, so do your homework on it as well, as much as you possibly can. I mean, Candice Elsinger is incredible for giving notes in the room. I mean, she just takes the time and just reads to everybody too. I mean, that was the good thing about going in the room. But do your homework. Do your homework on this character.
Yeah.
As much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
The tone of the show is really important.
Yeah, there's so many shows. Like there's a show, Animal Control, which is kind of like a bit big and slapsticky, and then there's another show called like Tracker, which is also really like kind of very straight and solemn kind of. So you got to know the difference between those two. You definitely can't do an Animal Control style audition for Tracker.
Yeah.
Because it's
and then there's deadpan comedy, so there's just a lot of things, and then there's like multicam, which is very important too. Not so much multicam goes on here, but
we don't have a lot of multicam. It's usually single cam.
It's usually single cam,
but the multicam is kind of a sitcom style, and I've done it. And it's really fun because it's a lot like doing a play.
I love it because it flows, right?
Yeah.
Like Innocence. Did you see that on Netflix?
No, I haven't seen it. It's on my list.
So amazing. And it's just one take, one scene all the way through. And the actor really has that opportunity just to bring it without cut. We're turning it around, right? It's just brilliant.
Oh, that's good. It's definitely on my list.
It.
How many other people have seen, what is it, Innocence or Adolescence?
Is it Innocence or Adolescence? One of the two.
I think it's Adolescence.
Is it Adolescence? Yes, Adolescence.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because nobody's going to watch Innocence.
Adolescence. Thank you.
I think it's Adolescence.
Thank you.
That's the show you meant.
And it's this little kid. He's incredible. He's going to go far already.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Good to watch.
Yeah, cool. And then so you're getting all of these tapes now. Constantly just getting like. You're here with your laptop, you're just like banging out auditions, taking in tapes, passing that. What is it that makes a good self-tape?
A good self-tape. Okay, well, first of all, it's the basics. We all know the basics. I hope you know the basics by now. But, no one wants to see a full, it's not going to work. You need to be really tight.
Yeah.
A lot of people still do, a self-tape with a lot of distance. And so it's really hard to concentrate on the face, right?
Right. So it should be at the elbows.
Pretty much.
Pretty much at the elbows to the top of your
head.
Yeah.
And really tight.
Yeah.
Because you're very still in your movements, right? Tight. Lighting is very important. If I start seeing grey and if you're fading into the colour of your backdrop, that doesn't work either.
Okay.
Remember, this is your audition. This is your spotlight. So don't just, if you have to be full hair and makeup every time, do it. This is your time to shine.
Yeah.
Never go in full costume. But for example, if you're going out for a cop show, just wear a button down like a white shirt or a light blue shirt, just to set the tone.
So you're saying dress to suggest the character.
Dress to suggest. I like that.
Yeah.
I should use that. Dress to suggest. Great. Thank you. Hashtag.
That's good. Dress to suggest. So always dress to suggest the character.
Yeah.
Don't come in because I remember when we'd go to auditions, there'd be people in like a wedding dress.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, and so my rule of thumb is if somebody looks at you when you're walking down the street, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But if it's just something and people are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So dress to suggest. Okay, so.
And the volume, it has to be, I can hear you. If I can't hear it, no matter how much I put my volume on, that's a hard no, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you don't.
Good audio.
Good audio, good lighting, tight,
frame,
and a great reader, please, if you can. I know it's hard to find readers sometimes, and a lot of these people are doing the the thing on the camera where you can talk into it and then you change your voice and then they put it over there. The only thing about that is I can tell you're waiting for the line. That is the biggest takeaway for me is please don't wait for your line. Because if you were in that character and if you were in that situation, I'm not waiting for what Simon is going to potentially say to me next, right? So that's another thing is, if we can not do that, that would be good.
Right.
That's why a reader's very important, not too loud in the background either.
Yeah. So your reader shouldn't distract from your tape because it's about you. So somebody shouldn't be too loud, or I've actually heard other people in the past that kind of put on character voices.
Yeah, no. Because it puts you off. You're like, what?
Yeah. Why is Kermit the Frog the reader? You're like, oh boy, or Yoda, you're like, no, don't be in character. You're the reader. So there's a humanity or that exchange.
That
kind
exchange,
of,
that real exchange.
That you don't get with a robot or an app. Yeah.
Yes. And then, of course, your eye line, right?
Yeah.
So, you don't want to be looking straight into the camera unless it's warranted and called for. If you're doing a report or something like that, slightly off, but not this way. I hate to see that. Let's bring it back.
Right.
So almost you're looking at the camera, but you're just looking off.
Just off camera. Yeah, because they've cheated too far then.
It's gone. I can't see what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's some actors that are amazing at having one eye at the camera and one eye off. I don't know how they do it, but it looks incredible. So it almost looks, I know.
They're like a lizard, like a lizard can do one eye.
Do you know who could do that? Leah Gibson. She was amazing at that. Like, she was so good at that. I'm like, wow. Can you do that again, please? She was like...
We're going to study her work now.
Yeah, you study her work.
We're going to have follow her Instagram.
She was so good at that.
Leah, how do you do this?
Yeah. But no, that's all about connection, right?
Yeah.
So you're connecting with
the reader.
Whoever's watching it.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have
Yes.
empathy when they're watching, but you got to connect to the person off camera.
Yes.
Because if you're not, and it's an app, it's gonna it takes away from your performance.
Connection.
Yeah, it's hard to do that. That's true.
Yeah.
So so that's what makes a good self-tape: lighting, backdrop, sound.
No background noises either. No washing machine going. You got the microwave going, background TV. I've heard it all. Forget it. No, paintings in the background. So everybody's more interested in what books you're reading, or the Picasso on the wall.
Yeah.
Than
or the cat.
Or the cat.
The cat's just.
Mind you, that's kind of funny now. Like everybody's like, look at the cat.
The cat's just sleeping.
But seriously, just keep it all about you, because this is your time, right?
Right,
Yeah.
so you don't want to be upstaged by any props or
except
anything.
the cat.
Except for the cat. You don't want, okay. So that's a flunk. Again, it just kind of takes away from your performance. And obviously your audition is about your time, and getting an audition is actually pretty difficult, and we can talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so like
that's
younger
very good.
actors coming in, or newer actors, and they're like, hey, the commercial stuff's been great, but I want to get into film and TV. How does that progress for them? How do you, you as their agent can pitch them, but the casting director, how does that work? Like, how does the casting director say, okay, or, because they get thousands of submissions every day. So how does that happen? How do you get somebody in?
I mean, look, it's changed, right? In the last few years. I mean, we went through COVID, and we were very lucky in Vancouver to come back quite quickly. You know, we were one of the first cities to actually come back. So, we thank Hallmark for that, actually, which was great.
Yeah.
And then we had strikes. We had a couple of strikes, which really affected us big time. And then we had the fires in Los Angeles, and then we had all the cuts at these streaming services, and that whole behind the curtain at Netflix, right? So there's been a lot of pullback in financing, in green lighting, in shows, in general. So what does that mean? That means that everybody's fighting for your spot. Everybody's fighting for your spot, right? So, a lot of locals and a lot of people would have more opportunities before all of this stuff transpired
Yeah.
from COVID to the strikes, right? So now it's you really have to just give it your best. And so listen, don't be waiting for your moment either.
Yeah.
You know, there's platforms out there that you can, like Vimeo, for example, their stock went all the way down the drain this year actually, but they're starting to get into content creation.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of getting yourself out there as well. Don't be stagnant. Do your own stuff. Create a YouTube channel. I don't want to hear that, you know, I've got nothing going on. You're a creative. You need to get this creativeness out of you. And how are you going to do that? You know, you're going to
take a class.
Take a class. No, but serious.
Yeah.
Take a class, keep that muscle memory going,
Yeah.
right? You need to be creative with your own self, produce your own shows. You can do that now. It's so much easier than it used to be. And you can put it out there on various platforms.
Yeah.
There is this vertical short movement that's happening right now too. So it was actually Quibi, but Quibi was too soon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So these are like 1 and 2 minute little short movies, and there's certain platforms like I think it's Drama Box is one, and Real Short is another. I think.
And so these are content that's for your phone.
Yes.
And it's in a vertical format.
Yes.
And it's like a little soap opera.
And I think you can watch them on your computer. I think, but what it is it's like they're like little hooks where they get you in for these minute or two little movies, and then you have to,
like, the scene is like 1 or 2 minutes, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, something just happens, and then you want to click the next one, and then finally, when you've clicked like 5 or 6, then they say, now you have to pay, of course. But but you know, I don't know much about them. This is all uncharted territory for me.
Right.
But I keep seeing more and more and more. I know that Monica Dolman in the city, she's in Vancouver, she seems to cast a lot of these
vertical series.
Yeah. And, you know, I know she's trying her best to try and keep them, you know, moving forward, and maybe one day they'll be union. I don't know.
Right, because right now they're non-union.
Right now they're non-union. Look,
and they do pay.
Yeah.
They do pay, but it's not union rate.
Yeah.
But they do pay a little bit of money, so you can.
And they're unregulated though, still, right? So we have to be careful,
of
you know,
stunts,
with the script,
nudity, anything like that.
Anything like that. So all I'm saying is be open to them, because there is some great opportunities to get a demo out of them. And you have a great day on set. But also just be cautionary about the content. If you feel there's something that you're uncomfortable doing,
don't do it.
Just don't do it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, right?
Yeah,
so,
we just don't do it. Your own personal rule book, your own personal boundaries.
Yeah.
Because once you do it and you're uncomfortable with it, that stuff's out there for life.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away.
Yeah.
So the best thing is just don't do it. Mm-hmm. Just don't do it. Yeah.
But again, it's like I'm not for or against. I just don't know enough about them. But I do as much research as I possibly can, and I do send my clients out with them, because it is a great opportunity at the same time, right?
They get some reps. Yeah. They get on set and they make a little bit of money.
Yes.
Yeah, because they don't pay a lot, but they pay a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great for if you're a non-union performer and you want to get a bunch of these. I actually have a student who's done 20 of them. He's done 20 in a row. He's like the vertical king.
Wow.
And I know. He's crazy.
Yeah.
And he just keeps making them. It's just one after the next. And he said he quit his job and he's just making these verticals now. So my hat's off to him.
Yeah.
Way to go, Evan.
Oh, way to go, Evan. Whoever Evan is, hashtag Evan.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's for everything, though. If ever you feel uncomfortable in any situation, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a movie, whether it's a commercial, whether it's anything, reach out to your agent.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't have to feel that way at all, especially today. We're here to protect you and help you, you know.
Yeah. So that's one of the benefits of having a talent agent on a union show. But if you go non-union, you know, there's you know, it's unregulated, as you say, so there's things that can happen that may not necessarily have your best interests in mind. So again, just don't do them. If you're not comfortable, just don't do it.
Yeah, with anything. Don't do anything that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and also, like, you know, if you look back at some of the other, you know, just to go back on this last thing about being a creative, like, if you look back at some of the old great gods of acting. There was like Stella Adler and all that other stuff. And she would talk about like go to the art gallery. You know, like go to a concert. You know, go to a show. You know, because those things enrich your life as an artist.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't necessarily have to take an acting class. You can maybe take a painting class or a class on editing or screenwriting or I don't know, painting.
Yeah.
You know, just
something to keep the creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
All the time. Right.
Yeah. Because standing around and waiting, it just makes it awkward. But then, of course, when you do, or even a martial art, that's another thing too. Is like you know, it keeps you fit and
it's great for on set too.
Yeah.
You know, but I always say, especially through times like this, because I've heard it so many times, like we've got to be alive till 25, and it's now April, right? And we are seeing a little bit of, I'm seeing an uplift, which is really positive. But you know, keep training, whatever it is. And I always say that discipline is a form of self-love, right? So if you can discipline yourself every single day to do something that's on your trajectory to move forward in your career, then that's brilliant. Just, I don't want to hear, I'm not getting anything, I'm not doing anything. It's like, what are you doing? You know, are you doing self-tapes? Are you doing, you know, anything online? What are you doing? Send it to me. And that's another thing. It's really interesting because some people will do all this extra stuff and not tell their agent.
Oh.
And it's like, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like, oh, you did a class with, you know, and you've got a load of self-tapes to send me.
Yeah.
Please send them.
Right.
You know, keep your agent informed. Communication is key. If they don't know you're doing anything and you're taking all these amazing classes, then they don't know, right? You're a team. You have to remember your agent and you're a team. So just work together collectively that way.
And then, so, you know, this is a great point. Like, how often should an actor check in or say hi? Or, you know, personally, I like to have like a sit down with my agent like once a year, just have like a cup of tea or, you know, whatever. And just, you know, not so much talk about the business, but actually try to just connect as people. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, sure.
And then maybe talk a little bit about the business, but like how, like some actors are like, oh, should I do something once a week or once a month or every 3 months? Like, am I being a pest? You know, like what's a good amount of time?
I think there's various times of the year when an agent is really, really busy. And so you kind of know it when you start to get busier yourself. But that again is a communication thing, right? So have a conversation with your agent. Just say, hey, how do you want me to communicate with you? Are you better by text? Are you better by phone? Are you better by email? And do you want to see my work as I've done it? Do you want to see it weekly? Do you want to see it? And everybody's different.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of, but don't be afraid to ask that question, right? You shouldn't be afraid to ask that question.
No, you shouldn't be intimidated by your agent.
No, gosh, not at all.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants you to do your best, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your dream, and don't let anybody else take that away from you, right? It's your dream. So no matter how many auditions you've done and you haven't got anything yet, it's going to happen. You just have to keep going. Keep going. It will happen for you.
Yeah,
the right thing will come for you. It always does, right?
Yeah.
So
I say if I can guarantee one thing, if you quit, you will get nothing.
Totally.
I guarantee it.
Yep. Yep.
But if you keep going, something will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't quit. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
And be hungry. Be hungry.
Yeah.
You know, because the competition is very, very strong out there.
Yeah.
So just be hungry. Go to, you know, the run and guns. Go to any film festival you can. Anything in town. Do your research. Go to all these events. Meet people. Meet producers, directors.
Yeah.
You know, get on everybody's radar. I've got one client who is amazing at that, and she's currently shooting a movie in London.
Oh.
And she's,
Sounds awful.
Yeah. And she's,
London, Ontario?
No, London, England.
Oh, bloody hell.
And she's incredible. I'll tell you, it's Hayley Sales. But but she's such a hard worker.
Yeah.
She will do whatever it takes, and she's great at it, you know. And she doesn't sit back and wait for it to happen.
Yeah, that's
cool.
She's
involved, which is great.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like sometimes people lose touch with the clock, and they're like, oh, it's Sunday night, and I just got these, I'm just going to send you a text, and hey, look at all 900 of my photographs. When is the best time really to kind of like message you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now listen, and this is said with all the love in the world, technology is great, but it's also, a bit of a hindrance because people expect you to be available 24/7, and it's just not that way. I mean, I know myself personally, I work so hard during the week.
Yeah.
I need that time to detach.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to go bananas.
Right.
If it's something on the weekend and it's really, really important, okay. But if it's about your headshots, or if it's about something that is just not relevant for the weekend, during the week is the best way, honestly, and then you'll get your full attention. This is one thing I am going to suggest to everybody, though, is if you get an audition on Friday and you get the audition off your agent on Friday, please confirm ASAP, because there is nothing worse than a client or a performer then asking their agent on Sunday night, like you said, I can't access my sides. Well, first of all, I know you're not going to do a good job for tomorrow morning.
Right, because it's due at 10 a.m.
You need to be prepared. You need to take that ownership, because it's your career. I'm absolutely here to help you and is your agent, but we can only do so much. You are the one that's in control of your career. Remember that, right? So help me help you. This is how it works. It's a help each other, right? Along with any demos that you have, or any special skills that you have, or anything you failed to mention. I had one client tell me the other day that they're an amazing singer, and I had no idea, and she sent me her tape. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful.
Oh wow, that's great.
So it's ammunition for me,
yeah.
right?
It's more leverage to get them in the door,
because everybody can say, oh, I can sing, but can they?
I can carry a tune.
Probably can, but do you know what I mean? Like people can say I can sing or I can play drums.
But can you?
They can't.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen before. One of my clients went into an audition with, I think it was Sean Milliken or Chris and Cara for a commercial.
Yeah.
And it said, must be able to play the drums.
Yeah.
And of course, on his casting sites, it was excellent drummer. Perfect.
Oh, Ringo Starr in the house. Here we go.
So he went in for the audition.
Yeah.
And of course, he had no idea how to play the drums. I know.
How?
I don't know.
How do you get?
And so it was a waste of everybody's time, essentially.
Yeah, clearly. So you get remembered for being a liar, basically.
Well, yeah. I guess. I guess everybody upgrades their resume a little bit, but that's just a lot.
That's like if you can't even do it. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of people saying, "Oh, I know how to rollerblade and I know how to do this," and they can't. Yeah. And that's always a little disappointing. So I just want to get back to the confirming of the audition. So when you get an audition, your audition gets emailed to you. You get an email, and then what happens if somebody gets the email and then just doesn't confirm it, and then just doesn't do it? What does that leave you an impression with?
You can see the silent pause here.
Yeah,
it's like, look, again, no one forced you to be on anybody's roster, or no one forced you want to be in commercials or film. Nobody forced you. This is what you want to do. And so it's really, really disrespectful, especially when people are carrying their phones everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, it's in your pocket.
You can't tell me you didn't see it. I like a confirm within the hour if possible. I know people are at work, so check your phone on your lunch hour, and then get back to us ASAP. Why? Because the casting director needs to know that you are taking that spot. Today, an audition is a privilege. To get an audition is such a privilege. Yeah. So you need to know that, whether it's in commercials, film, television, it's a privilege to get an audition. So take that piece of that nugget that you have seriously. Yeah. And if you can't do it, you need to let us know right away. So guess what? We can let the casting director know, and then maybe we can replace you. Because we're all trying to make this commercial TV show film happen. Everybody wants everybody to be good.
Yeah.
You know, the casting director, for example, they don't watch your tapes and go, oh, I want this one to really suck.
Yeah,
they want you know what? They are like going, please let this person be the one, because then I'm done. And we've got a great cast, right?
Yeah.
So we're all part of a wheel, whether you're in a casting director or whether you're an agent, whether you're a performer, whoever you are in this industry, we're all part of the same wheel, right? So we all have to respect each other's time, and especially for my assistants, they work so long into the evening. It's not fair, you know, especially when they've been going since 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're working all day, and the actor can't you know, just say, yeah, I'm confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
So just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
You know?
So if you can go, go.
Great.
And if you can't go, that's okay too. Just let your agent know that you can't.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And then, so you make your self-tape, and, you know, I've heard this happen before, as people are like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm late. And they go to submit it, and the link has actually
expired.
Expired. It's disappeared, so they can't upload it.
Yeah.
And you know, so then they're like, oh, hey, can I send it to you? You know, that sometimes can happen, right? But I'm more kind of curious about somebody who's always doing that, like always asking for an extension, always kind of saying, hey, I need more time. You know, where does, you know, how does that all kind of work within the system that we're working with?
You know, and again, it's about being respectful for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, because your situation where, and we get it, life can get in the way sometimes. You're traveling, or
sick.
you could.
Yeah. Emergencies happen.
We understand that.
Yeah.
Of course we do. But it's that whole extra layer then that the performers don't realize, you know, because the casting directors have these platforms for a reason. It's easily seen. They've uploaded it. They can see it. Then they can send it if they want to, right? Whereas it's a whole different, it's an extra step for everybody. So because you didn't have the time to get it in on time, it actually affects a lot of people.
Right.
And then, of course, sometimes there's a deadline. For example, they need to get it in by X o'clock, because they need to get it down to Los Angeles. It's the same with FedEx. We're back to FedEx.
Yeah.
They want it in by a certain time so they can get everybody that they're sending down, all of their selects, down to Los Angeles before a certain time, especially if it's a quick turnaround.
Right. So the director has to see it. The producer has to see it. And the network has to see it.
Correct.
And then they may be on the flight back, and they say, oh my gosh, you know, actor X isn't available, so now... I got to replace them. Yeah. And it's like they're doing it, you know, and if you're like, oh, I'll dilly-dally, no one's going to wait for you.
And again, why would you dilly-dally? You know, if there's a really good reason, of course. Yeah. But there's no excuse for dilly-dally.
No.
At all.
This is your passion.
Well, you know, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is what you want to do. Yeah. Then treat that with respect.
And also, you know, I remember hearing this, you know, years ago from a friend of mine who's a casting director in LA. His name's Paul Weber. I'm sure you know.
Paul,
and somebody was like, oh yeah, this problem, that problem. He's like, hey, you know, no one invited you. Yeah. You know, you invited yourself to this industry. Yeah. You know, and I was like, oh, Paul, you're killing me. And he's like, yeah, it's true. No one went around and said, hey, I need you to come here. So if you know, lost your passion or forget about your passion or something like that, then, you know, maybe take a break and reflect. But if you're not, you know, like, don't forget like what you're after, and you got to stay hungry. And I know it's kind of weird because we're doing so many auditions nowadays, and we're not getting the feedback or just even that in-person kind of like, you know, and
but
just
let me tell you, the feedback is getting another audition today, right? So you know, and the casting directors, unless it's for a really big role and they're up for it and they didn't get it or something, then the feedback is warranted. But usually they have so many tapes to watch that they're not giving much feedback, especially for the smaller roles now.
Yeah, they don't have time.
So you all know. Yeah. And it's not that they don't want to, it's just that there's a time restriction here. And so I always say to the clients, look, she brought you in last week and she's bringing you again in this week.
That's good feedback.
And again, these are little nuggets. Your auditions are a really, really great opportunity. And so that is the feedback in itself.
Yeah.
They liked what you did the first time. Let's see them in something else. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And also, like, a casting director's job is not to give feedback. A casting director's job is to cast the film or the project. You know, feedback comes from your acting coach. You know, maybe your talent agent can kind of maybe give you a little nibble here and there. It's kind of a bit of a lonely business being an actor. You know, because you prepare by yourself. You know, you do your self-tape, and then let's say you book it, and then you go to some place that, you know, you get a phone call from somebody you've never heard of. You go to some place, you wear some clothes that you've never seen before. They tell you to go to some location you most likely have never been to.
It's so fun.
You've been to a set that you've never been on. You're working with some actors you don't even know, never heard of, and some director that you've never met. And then and they're like, okay, now let's shoot this. And you're like, I've never rehearsed. I don't know what's going on. And you have to really be so confident and so able to just be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm ready.
But that's what makes it so fun too.
Yeah, that's totally,
Right?
yeah.
Talking of which, my favorite thing to do in this business
What's that?
is tell the client they've got the job. Oh my gosh.
Guess what?
I play jokes on most of my clients. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got
No, you got it. No, you didn't. Haha. No.
No. Yeah, April Fools.
Yeah.
I've got one client, Marley Walchuk, and I get her every single time, and it's so funny. She's incredibly funny. I'll be like, Marley, I need to have a conversation with you about your headshots.
Oh no.
And she's like, oh, okay. So then I'll pick up the phone and and then all of a sudden I'll drop the name of the character in, and she's like, what? And then she goes crazy. And then 9 times out of 10, she's in Home Depot for some reason, and I don't know why she's there. So
she does construction?
I don't know.
She does drywall?
She sings.
She sings.
And she acts, but it's brilliant, and I get her every single time. There's not one time I haven't got her yet.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. So that's my favorite part of the job.
Yeah, of course, telling somebody they booked something.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be the best.
For all of us, because we all work so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. There's a lot of work that goes into getting you at that audition, right? So we just, as agents, don't just, click whatever we think and have it shoot at the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's very bespoke, and I really do take care of who I'm submitting on certain projects, and then pitch to the casting director why this person should be getting this audition.
Right.
Just the audition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, it's a win for all. And then, of course, there's the negotiation and all of that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's a solid win for us all.
Oh,
It's
that's
great.
got to feel good.
It's brilliant.
And
it's the best feeling in the
so,
world.
So, over all the years and getting like relationships with casting, tell me, how does that work? And then, of course, like, what happens if, something doesn't go right? Like, does that hurt your reputation, or?
What do you mean by something doesn't go right?
Like somebody doesn't show up to the day that they're shooting, or they're late, or like, how does that affect your professional working career with that casting director?
Yeah, I mean, I have had a situation where somebody was fired from a set.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah, and I mean, we all worked it all out, and the casting directors, it wasn't obviously my fault.
Yeah.
But that was a really sad day. Sad moment in time.
Right.
So that has happened.
Right.
But then for most of the time, we're all human beings just trying to do the right thing,
Yeah.
And no one really takes the blame. But if you're part of my roster, or whoever's roster it is, there's a certain expectation level.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were late for set, Simon,
it'd
be a hard no from me.
Yeah, it's going to be. Well, yeah, just my actions affect other people, right?
Yeah.
And so people kind of need to know that.
Well,
that's
but
good
again,
to know.
you get the call. I get the call, and there's nothing worse than getting a call from the producer when one of your clients is on the set.
Where's your client? You're like, what?
Yeah.
Who? What? Oh, what's going on?
They never call you when your client's doing brilliant, because it's fantastic. That there's
Right.
no peep. But if you get a call, there's something's wrong.
The heart rate goes. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of start to wrap this up. So
Yeah.
the last question I have for you is, when an actor is submitting their package to an agency, what is the best practices? I know that we talked a little bit about like Google Drives and stuff like that.
Okay.
And but like tell me what's up. Like what's the best way for a talent agent to receive
a package?
Yeah,
this is a great question.
And what's in a package?
Okay, so couple of things. When you submit to an agent, please do not put dear characters if you're sending it to me. Like, we just know that that's gone to everybody in the city, which it probably has, but I don't care to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just be very, very mindful of who you're sending your package to.
Label the cover letter correctly.
And Sarah Parker and I from Principals Talent, we get each other stuff all the time because she's Sarah PT and I'm Sarah PT as well, PTM, and she's the Principals. It's quite funny actually. But be very careful on who you're sending it to. And again, that's with intention, right? Do not send a really long email. It doesn't really tell us anything as well. We've all got massively full inboxes. Let's just try and condense it.
What is that? TLDR?
Oh, I don't know.
Too long, didn't read.
Oh,
right. When you open an email and it's like, you're like, whoa, I don't want to read that. So brief.
Yeah. So and then also the one more do not, and then we'll get on to the do's. Is don't send my name is, I live in somewhere. If you want more details, please ask and I'll send it. No, I'm not gonna.
Give me the details now.
Yeah, where is the no? I want it all in one. All right.
Make it exciting.
This is what I want.
Okay.
I want a short bio, like a short interest. I want to know who you are real quick. Your resume, if you have one, and you might not have one yet. You might be brand spanking new.
But the resume should be in the email.
Everything should be in the email.
Everything should be there. In the email. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I want 2 up-to-date pictures. Let's not put something from 10, 15 years ago.
And 40 pounds away.
And then
personal thing. Sorry.
We're not going there. And what else? Now you put me off my game now. Okay. So your resume, your headshots, your short little bio, anything about our agency that you loved, that always stands out to me as well, because that makes me know that you've took the time to read our website.
That's nice.
And then any demos that you have, even if it's just recent self-tapes, do not send a WeTransfer. I don't want to download it because I don't know who you are. So it could have a virus attached to it. I don't know that. Right? Do not send me a Google link, because Google links, if it's being passed around and it's not open to all, it doesn't, say for example, if something comes to me through our info at agency, it's been addressed to info at. By the time it gets to me, I can't open it. So Google for that doesn't really work.
Right.
Dropbox is great. It's just a clickable link, and Vimeo is great.
YouTube?
Or YouTube. Great. Yeah. Anything that I can just click on
and it just plays.
View right away.
Right. You don't have to download it.
Don't have to download it.
Yeah, and you don't have to ask for a password. That's another flunk.
Yeah.
No password protected. I know that you're precious about your performance, but it's not worth. Yeah, we got to see it.
Yeah.
Right away, just on the link.
Or if you send a whole like a short film, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing. Thank you for sending, but I don't want to have to sit through your short film to find your piece. So tell me I'm at 4 minutes or 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That's where I come in.
Right.
Brilliant. I'll fast forward to 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Or just send that little clip.
That would be better.
That'd just be better if you just sent that little edited piece.
Yeah.
Right.
So just easy, accessible, everything in there at once, so I can look at it. Sometimes I'll review it, and then I'll review it again at the end of the day or the very next day. If you haven't heard from whoever you sent it, I would suggest you follow up in a week, because again, I might have seen it and then I got so busy and I completely forgot, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, Billy, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for reaching back out. That means to me you're really interested, and we'll set up a meeting.
Right. And so what's the worst day would be Monday.
Oh, Mondays and Fridays.
Mondays and
Fridays
Fridays.
are so busy.
Right, because you're trying to get everybody. So Mondays, all the
Castings and
breakdowns.
everything. Yeah.
All the breakdowns are in.
Well, Mondays is like a really big catch-up day too. From the
Right.
Friday that was busy,
Yeah.
weekend, and then we're catching up Monday.
And,
so
and Fridays, everyone's trying to do all their bookings and whatnot. So Mondays and Fridays,
yeah.
worst days to submit. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are better.
Perfect. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. And so you have to, the actor needs to have an actor dedicated Dropbox and actor dedicated email, actor dedicated Vimeo or YouTube or whatever it is. So that's very specific to them. And no downloadable stuff. they're not gonna download it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. What else do I have here? Do you want to talk about a general call?
Are you doing a general call?
Do you want to do it? We could do a general call. We could do that
For
a talent agent.
Oh, you want to do that? That'd be a good idea, actually.
Yeah. Do you want to do like a general where people can come in? We just set a date and people can come in and just bring their headshot and
Come
resume.
into like VADA, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be happy to do that.
And you could just take everyone's headshot and resume and meet them all.
That would be fantastic.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
That would be so nice.
What day would be best?
You're just throwing this at me now? I don't know.
Okay. We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you right now, but we will tell you. And when you do, whoever's watching, can get the opportunity to meet Sara for real, in person, in the flesh.
I am
in
AI,
the flesh.
really.
Yeah.
I am AI.
So if anybody's interested, so what should they bring if they're going to come and do it? And let's talk about what is a general call? What is that? So that's when basically people come in and it's kind of like a meet and greet you.
So general calls are great because it's a way of connecting with people again, right? We talk about this connection that we don't have. And I remember back in the day we'd have generals all the time.
Yeah.
And it would be so fun to see everybody, and that way I really know how tall Simon is,
right.
or and just have that one-on-one connection with them. So bring an updated headshot, and then just your resume if you have it. That's it. As long as your resume's got your contact information on and all
email,
of that good
phone
stuff.
number, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it would be for unrepresented talent only, just to confirm that.
Yeah, you got to be unrepresented.
Yeah.
So that would be great. And then
thank you. That's a great idea.
Yeah, we can. We'll
that.
set a date. We're not going to tell you right now, but we'll set a date and we'll make an announcement. Follow the Instagram. Follow Sarah's Instagram. Where can they follow your Instagram? It's Premier Talent.
I'm so terrible at. What am I? Sara Davis _ talent agent? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Is it? What about Premier?
At Premier Talent Management. I don't know. Premier Talent Vancouver.
Search it out. That's part of your first test. If you can't
homework.
if you can't figure out where her talent agency Instagram is,
listen.
That's your first challenge.
You know what? I spend all of my time pitching you, not posting. How's that? So you'll find me. You'll find Premier Talent Management. We've been around for over 35 years. So.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And then if somebody is kind of like they just kind of want to start, maybe they don't have a headshot and resume, but they just want to kind of maybe we can come in, they can take a picture of them with their name and email, phone number.
If you have nothing, that's fine too.
We just still want to meet you. Still wants to meet you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's your dream, so don't let anybody take that away from you.
We're going to wrap it up here. That's it. Was that fun? Did you guys like that? Did everybody like it?
I was good, right?
She's always better than me. She's always better than me.
Thank you, everybody.
Anyway,
thanks for doing that, Simon. That was amazing.
Thanks
Cheers.
for coming to Tea and Talent Agents.
I love it. Tea and Talent. Another one. Tea and Talent Agents.
Yeah,
they just keep coming out.
It definitely keeps coming out. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. It was great.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that was awesome. That was really good.